I want to talk about this theme today, about from me to we, and to talk about influence as well in your life and the life of others. And so what I want to talk about today was, I wanted to start with my prop here, the red phone. And I wanted to talk to you about that because, you see, the red phone signifies a very important piece of equipment that I have in my office because it is a direct line to get things done. So I brought it from my office so that you could see it today. And maybe you've recognized the red phone in other places. Batman has his direct line, the red phone, right to Commissioner Gordon, and he's able to call him, and they're able to communicate back and forth. They're able to make decisions and get it done. And some of you may even recall seeing the red phone in the Oval Office of the White House, where there was a direct line actually between the president and to other superpowers of the world, so they can, again, get things done, make decisions. And so when I became the mayor, I knew that I needed something like this in my office so I could just, pick up the red phone, and just get things done. So I just want to give you a couple examples. For instance, some people call me every now and then in regards to a parking ticket that they don't think they should have received, and they give me their case, and I say, okay, yeah, fair enough, I believe you. So I pick up this red phone, I come over and I pick it up, and it goes right to the parking department, to bylaw, and I just say, hey, Alice just called me, I don't think she should have gotten that parking ticket, you need to cancel that parking ticket, and they say, okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, absolutely, we'll get that done right away, and it's done. So that's how that works. Or someone says to me, Mayor Guthrie, we really need a South End Rec Center. We need a South End Recreation Center. We need it to be built. So I go over to the red phone, because I agree with them. We need a South End Rec Center. And I pick up the phone. I call that department. Or I can even call a builder and just say, hey, you know what? We need a South End Rec Center. So if you could please get this done, that would be great. And then it gets done. Of course, you guys know that that's not how it works, because this is in my office. But it's not hooked up to anything. Nothing at all. In fact, a friend of mine thought it was a joke. He found it at a garage sale and bought it for me as a gift. So this is what sits in my office as a joke, because that's not the way it works at all. And what I wanted to do today was try to explain to you how we move from this notion that the mayor has this kind of power in a city to actually how it really works. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about next was, if we're going to talk about the reality of how things work, and it's about moving from me to we. So during the election, it's all about me, right? You're walking up to people, you're going up to their front porch, you're going into businesses, you're on social media, you're saying, vote for me. Vote for me, vote for me. And all the councillors that are running for positions, they're doing the same thing, right? Vote for me, vote for me. But the difference is that that's not really how it works once you become elected. You have to move from all about me to we. Because I got elected as the mayor, but I have now 12 councillors that got elected in their wards. I have to work with them. We have to be aligned to be working together. And I now have a professional staff that I have to work with as well. That's part of the we. And further to that, there's the community. You being here today and others in the community, that is part of that we. And so it is all about that. And that's kind of where I talk about moving to we. There's pictures of council here. In the bottom right-hand corner, that's one of our staff members. And then, of course, the community and other staff members at large up at the top. So that is about moving. So one of the things I really realized right away when I became the mayor was that there is this different process of how things actually work to get things done. And it's not about the red phone whatsoever. So to get things done, there's actually a little triangle here I wanted to show you. And this is it here. Community is at the top, and they deserve to be at the top. We have administration and we have council. And as you can see with the triangle and the arrows moving back and forth, you can see how things actually function. Council has the oversight of administration, and then administration, of course, has the services back to the community. And of course, council and administration in the community are continually, it's a moving triangle. We're always moving. We're always moving together, and especially listening to the community voices. You know, I just wanted to give you an example of how it really works. So let's pick the skate park. How many of you have been at the new skate park, or at least seen the new skate park? All right, perfect. So that took a long time to get to Guelph. In fact, there's a picture of me on the front page of the Guelph Tribune from 1997 with me on my BMX bike fighting for a skate park. And we just opened it this year. It's almost 20 years. Almost 20 years it took. Was there a red phone involved in that? No. Should it have taken 20 years? Probably not. Okay? But let's pretend that we want a new skate park. Let's pretend that we actually want one. And to be honest with you, I think we kind of do. The one that we have right now is packed all the time. There would be some good reasons as to why we should actually have another skate park. So how does that work? I can't pick up the red phone and just tell everyone you got to build a skate park. It has a process. And that process is I have an idea to build another skate park because maybe I heard about the idea from some of you. I take it to staff. I run the idea by them. I take it to my fellow councillors. I run the idea by them. If it has merit and I get more research and more information about it, I then can maybe take it to a public council meeting where it can be debated in the public realm, where we can have a vote on it to see if it moves forward, where we can determine whether or not there's budget implications. If it gets put into the budget, if the budget then gets approved, when will it be built? So there's all these different processes and tasks in place in the public realm, and it's done for a reason. Because you don't really want, let's be realistic here, you don't really want me or anybody to be in a position where they have a red phone that they can just pick up at any time and just direct and demand things to be done. You don't want that. That's not the way it works. In fact, there can be some terrible things that can happen if it was that way. I could be beholden to one individual or be beholden to one group of people. And if I'm only listening to those voices, then I pick up the red phone and I demand that it gets done. It can wreck the community. So yes, there's processes in place. And there's these issues that have to be done in the public realm so that the decisions can be made properly. And yes, it can take long. Hopefully not as long as the next skate park, 20 years. But that is the reality of what actually happens. So, if I don't have the power, if I don't have the red phone, and as I said to you, I'm only one vote, I'm an equal vote to all the other 12 councillors, then what can I do? Like, you're the mayor, don't you have all this power? And a lot of people look at movies and the TV shows that are on television, and they think, well, that's how a mayor is. A mayor has that power. A mayor can direct things and just get it done that way. It's not reality. In Ontario, you are just, as the mayor, you are just one equal vote, even though you got voted on by the whole city. You are one equal vote to the councillor that only got voted in by 1/6 of the city. So if I don't have the power, well, what can I do? Well, it's influence. It's influence. And I talked to you about that at the top of that I wanted to talk to you about influence. I may not have the power, but I can have some influence, some positive influence. And when I talk about positive influence, you can see here that I'm out in the community quite a bit, trying to influence. You can see my selfie with the Prime Minister there, trying to maybe influence a little bit of something that goes on with the federal government, how they can help our city here. Here I am at the skate park on my BMX bike. I'm influencing with some of the schools I've attended. I'm having some influence with the University of Guelph, businesses that are opening up, students, other faith communities, and other stakeholders in the community. Influence is an important role to have as a leader, not just me as the mayor, but for you as future leaders in the room. It's influence. Because when you have influence, it translates to relationships, and that relationships that you build translates into trust. So I want to give you a story about my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather and the family actually arrived in Guelph in 1919. So it's going to almost be 100 years soon. He started the Guthrie bakery downtown on Quebec Street. And he started that bakery, and it grew to 4 locations. And then my grandfather took over. And it was one of the most sought-after bakeries in the area. Everyone loved, of course, the goods, the bakery that was, or the baked goods that was being done, but they loved the relationships that they had with my grandfather. He was there for them for the birthday cakes. He was there for them for the wedding cakes that needed to be done. So the relationships were built. But in the 70s, my grandfather actually sold the business, and he got into insurance. You heard in my introduction that I was an insurance broker for 16 years. My grandfather got into insurance, and he was amazingly successful. Why? Because he had the influence and relationships that he built at the bakery to become successful with trust coming into the insurance industry. You would think, well, what does a bakery have to do with insurance, right? Well, it has to do with trust and has to do with relationships. And that's something that he really taught with me. And becoming the mayor, knowing I have no power like the red phone, I know that relationships and influence and building trust is the things that are really going to make a difference and maybe move the needle a little bit on trying to get things done in the city. Influence and relationships and trust. Those are the things I wanted to leave you with today. You guys have no red phone. You will not have it either. So what can you do? I encourage you, so much so, to be involved in our community, not just from coming down to City Hall. We would love to have you there at the microphone. But you know what? Be involved, and I know you are. Email me. Email your councillors. You do have influence. You have a great amount of influence. Build the relationships. Build the trust. And when you have that, you can actually be a very powerful leader, even more so than just picking up the fake red phone. Thank you very much.